my question is, can we live like bonobos? 98.7% of our DNA we share with bonobos. They're our closest living relative, next to the chimpanzee. Now, I firmly believe everyone is born with a chimp gene and a bonobo gene, okay? I've spoken to a lot of scientists who say, if you look at male politicians in Washington, you have chimpanzee behavior. You're darn right you do. But we have a bonobo in us as well. I see it every single day. I do. I see the empathy. But the problem is we're moving away from that. It's like in history, we're going backwards instead of forwards. I'm extremely passionate about these apes. And aside from the DNA, okay, bonobos live in a matriarchal society. So the females run the show. It's absolutely incredible. They raise their daughters to go off into the wild, to be independent, and it's the sons that actually stay with their mothers long term. So aside from the matriarchy and the fact that they're incredibly peaceful, they're called the make love, not war ape, they're very, very inclusive. So they live in an inclusive society. They're very accepting, and they're gentle, and they know how to be in the moment. So what's so incredible about these apes is that they make love all the time. All the time. They truly do. When they feel tension, they have sex. That's just, it's innate. It's in them. They don't know any different. So again, I've spoken to a lot of scientists and researchers when I was doing research for my film, The Bonobo Connection, a documentary on these apes, and they told me that observed in the wild, there's no evidence of violence. They don't kill each other like chimpanzees do and like orangutans do. These are all brilliant apes. I mean, we're talking about very, very highly intellectual beings. Bonobos don't do that. They don't know why they don't do that. They just don't do it. They don't want to do it. It's not in them. I'm very drawn to empathy. And when I went to the Columbus Zoo in Ohio to do research, I spent about 3 years, every few months, with a family of bonobos. This is Jimmy right here. And this family, they took me right in. I was amazed. They didn't know me at first, and I didn't bring any of my equipment, any of my gear. I just sat with them. This is Susie. She's my family member. She's your family member. Susie is astonishing. I would sit with her for hours at a time in the glass. I'd be like this, she'd be right next to me. And she would look at me. It was like she was almost looking into my soul. It's like she knew all of my issues, all of my insecurities, and she became like a mother figure to me. I mean, honest to God, like I would be dreaming about her. Susie came to me in my dreams. There was one time when I guess I anthropomorphized the heck out of her, and she was speaking English to me. And this ape has touched me in just the most profound ways. She made me realize that, I'm good enough too. When I would sit with her, I felt like all of my insecurities came out. All of my vulnerabilities came out. My anxieties. And I just felt like I was just trying to fit in society, just trying to be enough, come from a competitive family, and our society, it's a lot to keep up with. And I felt like I was kind of getting lost in translation. But Susie got me to sit still with her and to be present in the moment. And it was like she brought me back to who I was. Like I felt alive again. And I didn't even know any of this was going to happen. I was just doing research for a film. But I sat with her over and over again, and I'd come back, and she would see me, and she would do this head nod. This is a really cool thing that bonobos do. They sit here, and they go like this. And when they get really excited, they want to see you and engage with you, and they accept you. So I felt really accepted by Susie. And it made me take a good look at myself and realize, wow, I feel like I can be a better person. I mean, when I was sitting with Susie, I didn't feel like there was a status difference because I'm a human and she's a great ape. We're both beings, and we had a language, even though we weren't speaking to each other. It was like a visual language, like an emotional language. It was truly profound. She has blown me away, and I will tell you, she has changed my life. She's changed the way I think about myself. She has changed the way I treat other people, and I try to have empathy every single day in people. I'm not perfect, none of us are, but when I looked at this, to me, this was like a huge wake-up call. She's a phenomenal mother, too. Susie spends so much time with her family and makes sure everyone is okay. So what does this mean for us? This is looking pretty good. If we can commit to not going backwards, but to moving forwards, we now need, in my opinion, the bonobo model more than ever before. We have this species, they're right in our backyard. I mean, in the wild, they live in the Democratic Republic of Congo, but you can see them in zoos in the US. And I encourage every single one of you to sit with a bonobo. Go meet one. Look them up. There's research all over the place now on them. Spend some time in their presence. It will absolutely change you. And you will see that there is hope. There's hope in our world for us to be empathic. It's hard. We're missing it. I know it's in us, but we're just not there yet. We're missing a big piece of it. We are a self-absorbed society. You know, we make it all about us, but it's about a greater love, a greater good. It is not just about us. It's about doing good for other people. And during my research, Susie taught me this, and I had no idea it would turn out that way. So she's taught me that we have something greater to live for. We can truly be happy and empathic people. We can sustain empathy. And what I'd like to leave you with is, you know, we have this chimpanzee over here that loves to hang around. And that's great. We need the chimp in us sometimes. But where's the bonobo? The bonobo is the best kept secret. You know, my partner says so much to me, Irene, it's about choices. And she's right. You know, we have choices, and we do. We have choices every day to be kind, to be sincere, to be authentic, and dare I say, vulnerable. So the bonobo model shows us what it would be like if men shared equal power in society with women. I think it's about time for that. Thank you.